Okay, if you live in the United States, I'm going to give you the names for the different parts of your bow. Down here we have the frog. Yes, the ribbit ribbit frog. Up here we have the tip, or possibly the point. This is the stick of the bow, sometimes called the wood. This down here is the hair, or horsehair. It's usually made of horsehair. Horsehair is quite rough, grabs the strings a little better. Let's see, down here you have the tightening screw. Here is the grip, or bow grip. This is the winding. Now let's just take a moment to look at what these look like on a real bow, as opposed to a drawing. I have a couple different bows here for you to look at. This first one, the winding is just wound plastic. It looks like down here it alternates with some metal. On really expensive bows, they will always be metal winding. So here's a more expensive bow. You can see the winding is metal. If you look really closely, you can see the individual little grooves. It's a very small piece of wire wound many, many times. The grip here, I assume, is usually made of leather. Right there, that's the bow grip. On my more expensive bow, I'm trying to save the bow grip. If you look here back at my cheaper one, you can see my thumb eats away. This is where my thumb goes. And my thumbnail eats at that bow grip and is wearing it down. So on my more expensive bow, I've put just a pencil grip up on my bow, and it eats that away. And when it's been eaten, I can turn it and start on the next bit. On very cheap bows, they just combine the winding and the grip into one long piece of plastic here. Okay, down here we have the ferrule. It's a little metal thing which helps bind the horsehair to the frog, keeps it from coming apart, gives it some added stability. Right there, ferrule. And those are all of your major parts of your bow. Usually right here, there will be a little space between the grip and the frog. Let me show you that on my bows. So here you can see that little space right there. This one. This guy, it's quite small. That's usually where the thumb touches, up in there. We don't put the thumb in what I call the frog's mouth, usually because it doesn't fit. It's very tight. So, okay, there you go. Quick thing, if we say move up the bow, we're talking about going this direction. So if I say higher in the bow, I'm talking about here, as opposed to lower in the bow, which would be here. If your bow is moving this direction, it's a down bow. If it's moving this direction, it's an up bow. Down bow, up bow. Again, lower half, upper half. And usually they'll have a balance point right about here. And the reason it's called the balance point, you've guessed it, is if you can find that point on your bow, that you can balance your bow on that point. So anyway, balance point. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something.